Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today we're talking about plastic. Plastic is a huge topic when it comes to living more sustainably, living a zero waste life or a low waste life. Plastic is just everywhere. Almost all environmental discussions are about plastic in the oceans, plastic, everywhere on the beaches, in our parks, just everywhere. Everywhere we look, it's plastic. And the moment you start looking at your plastic consumption, I know, it gets a bit overwhelming. So when I did my 12-month challenge last year, and February, which is actually quite an intense month in general for people, that was my plastic month, I was completely shocked at how much plastic I use, we consume in our daily lives, and also how much of that plastic is not even recyclable. I think the most important thing to remember when it comes to plastic is that there is good plastic and there's bad plastic, and that knowing what plastic is good and bad is a journey. It takes a long time to kind of figure it out and to really understand what's good plastic and what's bad plastic. It also takes a long time for us to change our plastic habits. It's not a overnight, oh now I've removed all the plastic from my whole life. I can promise you, we still consume plastic. There are things that are packaged in plastic, food items like cheese, for example, that's really, really hard to get unpackaged, especially if it's not your normal cheddar cheese. Some supermarkets will allow you to bring your own containers, but most won't. So there's things like that. There are certain things that you've had for a very long time that are plastic, and if you were to just throw those out, then that would also be wrong. So my point is that it's okay to be on a journey with plastic. A year down, I'm still on a journey, but I've accepted that there are certain things that I can buy in plastic if I buy the right kind of plastic. So that's what I'm going to go through with you guys today. First, the most important thing is for you to understand what the numbers at the bottom of plastic items mean. So for example, this one has a number 1. So there are different meanings to the numbers, and I'd highly suggest you go onto my website and have a look at my blog post about the numbers, because they explain what each of them mean, and I'm not going to go through it today because it's quite technical. So the important thing is to understand what the numbers at the bottom of your plastic items mean. So either have it written down somewhere, or have a crib sheet, which I also have on my website, thesustainablelibrary.com. So you can just refer to it quickly and see what it means. So let me take you through a few simple swaps that we've made or are in the process of making, and things you need to think about. So we consume a lot of plastic in the bathroom and in our toiletries. So the first kind of really important swap I made, and that my husband is still in the process of making, is swapping from normal toothpaste in a tube like this to toothpaste in a bottle. So this is also a natural toothpaste, which is what I prefer. But the big thing is that these tubes, and anything that comes in tubes, any cosmetics that come in tubes, cannot be recycled anywhere. There are some special recycling companies that can recycle them, but you can't put them into your local home recycling. So basically, you're just going to end up having to throw this away. Also, when it's in a little glass jar like this, you actually get to use all of it, and you have a glass jar afterwards to use. So this is the first swap to make. I know Colgate also now has a tube that is made from recyclable plastic, so that is definitely an option to go, but I haven't found it in the shops yet. So Another option to look for is getting something in tin. So I really took a long time for me to find a nice hand cream that's in a tin, because most of them are also in tubes. So I opted to choose this tin because also afterwards I'll be able to reuse the tin. However, as I said, with cream, it is really difficult to find something that's not in glass. And there is a reason behind that, and that's mostly because of transport. So anything that's in glass is obviously heavier, which means it's going to cost more to transport. And also, the heavier something is, the more carbon emissions it emits. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So when it comes to something like cream, if I don't make my own, sometimes I just don't have time to make my own, then I do opt for something that is in plastic, that is recyclable and is recycled. So, I'll opt for something like this Only Good lotion. And sometimes I even reuse these pump bottles. I really like choosing pump bottles again over something in a tube because I can reuse them. So yes, so these definitely are better. Something that's also even better in plastic than this is clear plastic because it's easier to recycle. So yeah, so that's definitely stuff to look out for. I would, however, recommend getting yourself some of these really, I think, pretty glass bottles, pump bottles. And then if you have a bulk store near you, you can actually just go fill it up. If you don't have a bulk store, maybe an option you could do is actually buy something in bulk, even if it's in plastic, but it's in a plastic that can be recycled, and fill up your whole house, all your hand wash, because we know how important washing hands is. And this way you're using much less plastic. This also, for me personally, looks a lot nicer in my bathroom than all of those plastic pump bottles with the hand wash that keep on standing around and look yucky after a while. So yeah, get one of these. My last plastic swap is one that you can do in your home office or encourage at work to do, and that is swapping out these plastic rulers. And parents, we can do this as well with something like these metal rulers or wooden rulers or bamboo rulers, even better. If they are wooden, please make sure they're FSC certified, but bamboo is a really good option. I just think, once again, it's not going to break off like these plastic ones do, and it's going to last way longer. Also, when this breaks, it'll splinter. So this is the worst kind of plastic you can imagine because it's really hard to actually recycle when it splinters into a million different pieces, where this is probably going to last you a lifetime. I think this is from my husband's school days. But there are times when there is good plastic, when it's good to choose plastic. So the first one I want to talk to you guys about is choosing something like these silicone tray thingies to bake with over baking paper. So the reason why I say that is because, yes, baking paper is not plastic, but this is still a lot of waste. It's single use. This is something you put on your tray once. You cannot recycle it because it's got a lot of oil on it afterwards, and you have to throw it away. Where if you choose something like this, and for the most part, silicone is actually a better plastic, you could say. So if you choose this, you can reuse it and reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. It's a much better option, helps with you going low waste, and also it works just as well, if not better, I found, than your actual baking paper. Other times when plastic is good is when we're looking at surgical plastic. So I think this is really important that we know when it comes to medical affairs, we need to use plastic. It is a very durable, a very strong material that can be easily sanitized and cleaned when it comes to all kinds of medical procedures. So this is my brace for my teeth because I have a lot of problems with my teeth. And I wear this every night, and I think this is a good form of plastic because it's not single use, and it has a really, really important medical purpose that is helping me. So I think it's really important that we remember that there are also good ways of using plastic. And then lastly, I think it's also good to choose plastic when it's an item made out of recycled plastic. So this is the grow bags, and you can actually pick these up if you live in Cape Town at the Oranjezicht market, and they're really great for planting your plants in. They have holes at the bottom, and they're made out of recycled plastic and recycled boards on the sides of the roads, so your signboards and things like that. And I just think that when we buy something and it's made from recycled plastic, that is also a really good thing to do because you're supporting an industry that's really, really important to keep alive. And lots of times you're also supporting smaller businesses. Also, you are encouraging more businesses to create products out of plastic that can be recycled, and create better quality plastic products. So basically products that are thicker when it comes to your plastic. So yes, just a shout out to grow bags, and basically to say that it is fine if you buy a plastic item made out of recycled plastic. So I hope that you got a little bit of a taster of what kind of swaps you can make when it comes to plastic, and what's good plastic and bad plastic or not so good plastic, and when it is fine also to choose plastic, because we live in a world that basically has been built by plastic, and sometimes it's not the worst choice in the world. So I hope you took a few tips from this, and I hope that you learned something. As always, please like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other plastic swaps or know of any other companies that are really doing really good things in terms of plastic and recycling. And yeah, I'd love to connect with you guys. Until next time then. Let's live sustainably.